I'm Katie Wells, host of the Maximized Minimalist podcast. I escaped the hamster wheel of modern-day motherhood, overwhelmed by clutter and buried under the mental load. Now I live in a home that feels calm, manageable, and made for real life. I have margin in my days, energy for who matters most, and time for slow mornings and silly dance parties in the kitchen with my family. With over 5 million listens, the show has helped women around the world turn their homes into their happy place. Around here, we simplify for more peace, more presence, and more joy. We choose grace over guilt and progress over perfection. And we believe your home should give back more than it takes. I'm here to help you do the same. Come along with me and my guests as we share the real stories, habits, and strategies that help you lighten the load from the inside out. Pull up a seat, friend, and let's do this together. Ready, set, simplify. Every January, millions of women and men participate in a ritual, and we call it a fresh start. But what if I told you the fresh start was really never designed to work? What if the very thing you've been trusting to change your life might be the thing that's also keeping you stuck? So here's what I've been thinking about. Why do we believe in fresh starts at all? And I'm not talking about like the hopefulness and change and progress and like the energy that comes with January. I'm talking about what is it about January 1st that makes us believe this year will be different? Like the calendar flips and suddenly we're convinced we'll become someone new, someone more disciplined, someone who follows through, someone who has an organized home with an empty inbox and a gym membership they'll use. Where does that belief come from? Because if you look at the evidence, for most of us, it simply doesn't hold up. And I hope you don't hear what I'm not saying. This is not judgmental. This is not made to make us feel bad. I've been in the same position, right? And the data on New Year's resolutions is brutal. Like most people fail at their New Year's resolutions by the third week of January. Researchers have actually pinpointed the exact day most people quit, January 18th, random. So yeah, every single year we do it again though. We clear our weekend, we buy the bins, we watch the YouTube videos, we attack our closets and kitchens with this fresh burst of energy. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, it will make you progress for a few days when we treat it like a one-stop shop, one big project, and then we can kind of wipe our hands, or we expect ourselves to just maintain it, right? But often for most of us, it doesn't change. And then we feel worse before we started. So here's my question as we get ready to head into, and we're already saying all over socials, new year, new me, right? Why do we keep participating in something that has an exposed track record of failure? I think it's because number one, we all hold on to that hope and progress. That piece is beautiful and like lean into that. Yes. But we've been told this story that's so deeply embedded in our culture, we don't even recognize it as a story anymore. We think the only way to change, the only way to hit our goals, the only way to see improvement is to like become a different person. But we're going to talk about that today because it's not. I want to expose that story for what it is, because until you see it clearly, you're going to keep reliving it year after year after year. Again, the story we've been sold, change happens through motivation. You get inspired New Year's. Most of us do. Maybe it takes a few days after you get home from travels and fatigue from all the holiday sugar and all the stuff. And then it hits, or maybe not at all. Maybe you're like, Katie girl, I never feel motivated to declutter. I get it. All right. I get it. But for those that do, maybe you get inspired January 1st, you take massive action. And if you just push hard enough, your life transforms, right? The heroes in this story are the people with enough willpower to see it through. And if you fail by January 18th, well, you just didn't want it badly enough. Try again next year, right? This story is everywhere. It's in the weight loss ads that flood your feed. Oh my gosh, I see so many of them. I was feeling good. Hopped on my Instagram to post a piece of content for y'all, and some, fitness influencer I recently started following did a before and after of her, like side by side. And I was like, I look like her before photo. I immediately felt so bad about my body where I didn't really feel bad before. I was like, OMG, what a way to hijack like my nervous system and make me feel horrible about myself. Again, it was not intended that way, but the same thing happens in the home organization space, right? Look at this before and after. And we're like, dang, I'm not showing up, right? Look at all the perfect parties. Look at all the perfect homemaking, new year, new you. And I think the story does to us every time is like the fresh start fails. we don't really question the method. We question ourselves. I'm not disciplined enough. If only I were more motivated. Motivated, that M word, I can't stand it. And it comes up in regular conversations with current students and just people who come into my world. Katie, how do you find the motivation? I'm just not motivated. We think that we need to be motivated in order to take action, but action creates motivation and momentum. Action has to come first. And we'll talk more about that. And you think other people can do this. Why can't I? Maybe I should just accept that I'm not an organized person and not even try. That's not what I'm telling you either. The cultural story of the fresh start has this built-in protection mechanism. When it fails, it blames you and you accept the blame because you don't realize there's another option, but there is. Again, what if the method is the problem? What if you've been running an experiment that was rigged from the start and then being upset with yourself for the results? So this is what we're diving into. So I want to tell you about a woman. I'll call her Evie. Why that name? That's not her real name. I have always loved that name and I don't have a daughter of my own. So if I did, maybe I'd name her Evie. Beautiful name. Anyway, I also love The Mummy. Okay. This is what inspired me to originally want to be an archaeologist for a living, specifically in Egypt, but maybe that'll be in another lifetime. So anyway, I digress. Evie is a mom of 2. She's a client of mine. She works full time. And for years before she came into my world, she had this January ritual like all of us do, right? New year, new me. She took 2 PTO days, between 2 to 5 PTO days off, first or second week of January, not to rest, not to recover, not to do stuff she wanted to do, but to declutter. Because the clutter built throughout the year got so overwhelming. So she's like, okay, the only way I can do this is to clear my schedule and take time off and boom. Right? So guess what happened? The kitchen counters had become a dumping ground. The living room that felt peaceful didn't feel peaceful no matter what. All of those things she made a lot of progress on. By the end of those 2 days she took this past year. And her house looked different. And she's like, dang, I'm feeling so good, joyful. I'm regaining control of my home. And then Monday came the next week, right? Back to work, back to the chaos of getting 2 kids out the door every morning, back to the exhaustion of 5 p.m. when you still have to make dinner, help with homework, do bedtime, and the laundry's piling up, right? Back to reality. 2 weeks later, she messaged me and she's like, I can't tell that I had done anything. I cannot see any of that progress. It is completely buried. I feel like I'm losing again at life and home, and I'm so defeated inside. And here's what happened inside Evie during that time, right? That window of time where she had the progress and then back. It's like clutter whack-a-mole. It wasn't just frustration. It was something deeper. Every time we think we fail at something, we start to believe something about ourselves. Evie did. She started to believe that she was fundamentally incapable of having a home she felt proud of. Other women can do this, but not me. Something's wrong with me. Maybe I'll just wait. I know I thought this. I told Andrew years ago when I was drowning in clutter, failing, everything. I'm like, maybe we'll just wait. I'll try this again when the kids are 18 and move out. I literally was like, I can't think of any other way. How can one simplify their home with these methods and advice? It's just, they're not built for busy families. And not only that, but her husband was frustrated too with the sense, with how the home was. Not in a cruel way, but he would get home from work and just like she was having this reaction and stress and frustration from clutter, he was too. And it was causing a lot of pain points in their marriage. And tough place to be. I've totally been there too. She stopped inviting friends over, years ago. She started avoiding rooms because they were just so overwhelming. It just got worse year after year after year. And every January she'd try again, because what else was she supposed to do? The fresh start was the only method she knew. And what Evie didn't realize, what she couldn't realize, was the method was the problem. And she's not broken, and she was failing because she's following a blueprint designed to fail. So let me explain what I mean. There are 3 reasons the fresh approach will fail almost every single time. And once you see them, you'll never unsee them, and you'll know a better way. Number 1, it relies on motivation instead of systems. Motivation is a nasty word. Honestly, I kind of hate it. Motivation really, at the end of the day, is a burst of energy. It's people think I wake up and I'm just decluttering and I'm motivated to declutter. That's it. It's not a strategy. It's a spark. And sparks, don't get me wrong. We like to camp. We like to have fire pits and all that stuff like our family does. Sparks are useful for starting fires, but if you don't have kindling and logs and a structure to maintain the flame, the spark just dies. This is what happens every year, every January, right? By January 18th, the spark is gone. And if your only plan was try really hard while I feel inspired and motivated, we're never going to make it past January 18th. Again, not a character flaw. This is human biology. Humans are not designed to sustain intense effort through willpower alone. Hello. We're designed to conserve energy, seek the path of least resistance, build habits and systems that run on autopilot, that make our lives easier. When you rely on motivation, you're fighting your own wiring, and your wiring will win every single time. The second reason, it's generic. It's 2026 almost. Can we have a new thing for New Year's? The fresh start, new year, new you. I don't want to be a new me, honestly. Yeah, we can we're all about optimizing and improving. I get it. It's a journey, but it's come on. Can I just be who I am? But this genericness of this new year, new me, every life is the same. Watch the YouTube video, follow the checklist, do what this influencer did. But your life is not generic. You have specific constraints. You have specific time, specific energy, reasons, multiple reasons your clutter exists, different stuck points in this person over here and then me, right? A plan built for someone else's life will always feel like walking in shoes that don't fit. You can do it for a little while, but eventually your feet gonna hurt, girl. Take those shoes off, put the flats on, you want to. What works for the woman with no kids and a flexible schedule will not work likely for the mom who works full time, right? That is the reality. It's time constraints. And when it doesn't work, you won't blame the plan, you'll blame yourself. And the third reason, you are doing it alone. This is the one we don't really talk about often enough. Fresh start positions change as this solo hero's journey. You against the clutter, you against your bad habits, you against the weight you want to lose. But humans do not change alone. We never really have. Look at every significant transformation in your life, and it brings tears to my eyes. There was probably someone somewhere. I think about putting years of my life, only one, to write hands on paper or hands on my keyboard, this new book I have. But it's 7 years of working, having my eyes in thousands of families' homes, thousands of women's minds and hearts and souls when they're talking about their clutter, right? Years. Think about college, think about big transformations, career changes, expanding your family, all these things. You probably didn't do it alone. You had a coach, a friend, a partner, a mentor, a community, someone who saw your progress when you couldn't. Maybe that friend in college who you studied with, and it's you look back at that time so fondly because you're dang, if I didn't have her, I probably would have given up. Or, you know what, it was still really hard, but she at least made it bearable. Someone who recalibrated your plan when life got chaotic, because life is always going to continue to life. Someone who reminded you of why you started, that is a beautiful thing. When you do hard things alone with no support, with no accountability, in isolation, no one adjusting the approach when you get stuck, giving you a boost, giving you a, hey girl, I feel you. I know this is hard and we can do this, right? Even just saying that to you, but also to me, I'm I feel better. I already feel better. I don't know about what. I feel better going into 2026. You are swimming against the current of human nature. Yes, we are more connected through technology than we've ever been, but that is not filling the needs we have as humans, right? And you might make it for a little while, but eventually I think so many of us get tired of doing it alone. And I think clutter is nuanced in the sense that we all think clutter is happening to us. I'm the only one with clutter. It's not true. It is not true. Like I said, I've said this before. If that were true, it'd be me and you, my one podcast listener. We all deal with clutter and mess, and you are not alone in that. So here's what I want you to hear. And I really want this to land. All right. I'm bringing the plane in to land. If your fresh starts have failed, there is nothing wrong with you. It's because you've been participating, as many of us do, because we're oh, well, she's doing it. Oh, well, all right. Where's my 50-step plan? What are the 100 new habits I need, right? All the things. We're well, if she's doing it, I guess I'll try again. Stop taking the blame and stop internalizing the failure as evidence that you're not disciplined, organized, or good enough, motivated enough, fill in the blank, right? The story we tell ourselves here is like the one where other people can do this and you can't. It's a lie. It was planted there by a broken method that protects itself by blaming the victims. Here's the method. If you can't do it, well, that's on you, right? So stop carrying that story. Not just because I want you to feel good heading into the new year, because it's actually factually not true. Wow, that rhymed. I really like how that came out. Actually, factually. I feel like there's a cartoon character that could like become a part of her motto, and I need to know who that is. Or like, what was that TGIF, like Step by Step or Urkel? I don't know. I feel like it comes from that time. I'm aging myself. Okay. Here is what happened with Evie. Let's wrap up with Evie here. At some point, she was like, I am so over taking paid time off work, not seeing results long term, and I need to figure this out, because what was at stake for her and the clutter and the negativity it was causing in her life became too big for her to ignore anymore. So instead of trying to attack her whole house in 2 to 5 days with one big heroic push, she picked 3 spots, 3 to just start. So her kitchen, her living room, and her closet were 3 of her biggest pain points. And instead of following a generic plan from ChatGPT, man, which by the way, I've like covertly used ChatGPT. Like I'll use my husband's because it doesn't know like who I am. It gives really bad advice. And if you like call it out, you're like, no, that's not good advice. That will really overwhelm me. It'll be like, why, yes, you are right. That was horrible advice. I actually had it say like, hey, like, what would Katie Wells say? And it was also not good. I digress. It doesn't matter what you're using, Google, whatever, chat. I'll just leave it there. Like, check yourself, right? Like, we can't take it with a grain of salt. But these generic plans at chat or Google or whatever, instead of using that, she had someone help her build a roadmap around her life. What a concept. Around her schedule, her kids' rhythms, her energy levels, her goals, the specific reasons clutter kept accumulating in those specific areas, right? Getting to the root, getting to the heart of it. And instead of doing it alone, listen up, y'all. She had support, someone checking in, someone to check into, someone adjusting the plan when her daughter got the flu and the whole week fell apart, someone helping her see progress when all she could see was how far she had to go. And I will tell you what, that last piece, I don't know if you can hear when I get tears in my eyes. Like, I have tears in my eyes all the time. I'm just a crier. For better or for worse. Happy tears, sad tears, all kinds of tears. I'm like very interesting that way. But it's like, I have tears in my eyes because I remember standing in my house and being like, what the actual heck is happening right now? Like, I am making progress, but there are moments where you're just like, it's never really enough. And here's what really changed. This is important. It wasn't just her house. It was what she believed about herself. And Evie stopped believing she was someone who couldn't keep a home together. She stopped believing organization was a gene she was born without. She stopped avoiding rooms in her own house. 90 days later, her 3 spaces were not clutter-free. They weren't perfect, but they were transformed. And so was she. The shame she had carried for years. I stink at this. I'm so ashamed of myself. I can't believe I have all this clutter. I won't even invite people over. All of a sudden was gone. She had friends over again. She opened her closet without that pit in her stomach every single morning. And guess what? The next January, she didn't need a fresh start because she'd never fallen back. So here's where I want to leave you. The question is not whether you'll feel motivated in January. You probably will. And hey, if you're one of those people that's like, I don't, that's all good. The new year energy for a lot of us is real though, right? The question is, what will you do with that motivation? Will you pour it into the same ritual that's failed before, the heroic weekend push, and then like be done? Or will you finally try something different? You do not need fixing. You are not broken. But because you finally understand that method was never going to work, you can choose something that finally does. You deserve a home that feels calm, a home that feels supportive, a home that is your happy place. You deserve to have a home where you don't feel embarrassed when someone knocks on your door. You deserve to walk into your closet, your kitchen, your living space without like that heavy weight on your chest. Girl, trust me, I've been there. And your home doesn't need to be perfect or perfectly clutter-free or perfectly tidy all the time, which isn't possible, in order to give you that. So I hope you also find liberation in that too, because no one in this space talks about that. It's like the end goal is perfectly tidy, clutter-free 24/7. And that's how they sound apparently to me. So shift your expectation. And it is possible. I've seen it thousands of times. It happened for Evie. It can happen for you, but not through another New Year, something real. So if what I talked about today resonated, you're like, okay, I would love something like a personalized plan and the support piece. I want to tell you something because I have a program. Some of you have heard about it. New listeners, you haven't, because I only open it one time a year. It's called My Inner Circle. It is 90 days long. We start January 5th, go through like April 5th or so. And inside this, you get a decluttering plan built specifically for you, your home, your life, your goals. We pick your 3 hotspots together. You get accountability. You get me literally in your back pocket Monday through Friday. We use a voice messaging app where you can ask questions, share wins, send videos, send pictures, talk through the hard moments. Because it's not a matter of like, oh, am I going to get stuck? Trust me, I've been doing this long enough. Everyone gets stuck. And if you're anything like me and 99% of the women I work with, what happens when most of us get stuck? January 18th. Do we keep going or do we stop? Right? We stop. When we don't have clarity, when we don't have answers to our questions, we stop. It slows our momentum and it certainly squashes if any leftover motivation at that time. And this is exactly what Evie did. This is what changed everything for her. And here's the reality. I have this only open one time a year. I have just 25 spots and I have over 45,000 women on my email list. Okay, big difference in numbers there. So this is by application only, and they're now open. You can apply for Inner Circle. There's no obligation. If I'm like, yes, you are a great fit, you can decide, right? But applications are open now through January 1st or until it fills up, whichever one comes first. And then again, you can rest easy the rest of your December, knowing that Monday, January 5th, you start with me. And I'm not going to ask you to take PTO. I'm not going to ask you to give up your weekends with your family, right? And I'm not going to say new year, new you. We're going to make this sustainable, realistic, workable, and we're going to make progress together. Okay? If you apply, I will email you back within about 24 hours and let you know. And then if someone in you, or if something in you, I should say, is saying like, girl, I'm so freaking done with this cycle, this new year, like fresh start, like I need to make this work. I need to continue to make progress past January 18th. I'm telling you, this is your moment to do that. So go apply if this feels like it resonates with you. The link is in the show notes. And even if it doesn't, like I really hope you walk away from this episode with one thing, and that is it was never you. Before I let you go, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. However you're spending the next couple weeks, I hope you get rest, connection, and all the warm and fuzzy feelings that this time of year can offer. And if you're around on New Year's Eve, that will be I guess the final episode of the year. It's going to be a super special one because I'm getting super personal, maybe more tears. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll get crazy and not cry, but I'll be sharing what I'm not carrying into the new year other than this fresh start energy or fresh start, fresh you, and what I think you should consider leaving behind too. It's going to be such a good one to end the year with / start the new year with. I'm cheering for you. You know what to do. Ready, set, simplify. Bye.